Hello ladies and gents to No Drama Just Movies Rapid Reviews. Before our review of James Gunn's Superman releasing this week, we thought we should revisit some of the older Superman entries. So I watched Superman 2 from 1980 recently, and I had some thoughts. Right off the bat, this one definitely plays up the humour a little bit more. A lot of it is in the background or not as loud, which I appreciated. Like Perry's "If Paris is gonna go kablooey, I want my best reporter right in the middle of it." Sometimes, when it wasn't as obvious, it worked. But things like Otis missing the ladder or the guy cheerfully continuing his phone call through a Zod storm felt out of place, more like a Laurel and Hardy skit than a Superman film. I liked the plot of Lois and Lex both trying to uncover Clark's Superman secrets. Fun fact, the Richard Donner cut actually shows them getting said assignment, which adds more focus to the story and removes the awkward exposition that this movie has to resort to. But this feels like a logical next step after Superman's introduction to the world. It also gives us more time with Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve on screen together. They do a similar quick switch here as they did in the first movie, where Clark reveals himself to Lois, and it's just as impressive how Reeve shifts so noticeably from one persona into the other. His voice has more weight, and he's suddenly much more commanding. Speaking of acting, I loved getting more of Terence stamp in this one. He plays Zod with a commanding presence and with a bored superiority. Gene Hackman clearly had fun with his role, and I loved his interaction with the Zod Squad. The movie makes the same, I want to say, mistake as the first one, where the bad guys, and now there's two groups of them, just do their own thing for a while without Superman being aware of them. While it worked better in the first one because we still had Soup saving people and bagging bad guys, it makes this one feel a lot slower because the biggest threat Superman is facing at the beginning is that Lois might uncover his secret. And while I did like the adventures of the Zod Squad because it showed how powerful they were while allowing them to discover their strengths, I wanted a little more speed in the taking over the world plot. While that sudden chamber in the Fortress of Solitude provides the perfect strategy to defeat the Zod Squad, I was never on board with Superman giving up his powers. I get that he loves Lois, but to abandon the people who need him like that doesn't feel like something Superman would do. Now, if instead of making love the reason, they would have shown us the burden of being everyone's savior, shown us how exhausted Superman was, desperate for a way out, I might have understood it a little more. On top of that chamber, they added a lot more powers to the Kryptonians here. The tractor beam from the fingers, or the teleportation in the fortress, Superman's plastic S that does pretty much nothing, and Soup's being able to not only teleport, but also multiply himself somehow. It feels excessive and too random. Finally, two of the smaller weird things I picked up. Is it just me, or is it unclear what Zod and his two henchpeople actually did? They break in somewhere, Kit-Kat a red crystal in half, and then are sentenced. I also love how the council's like, Zod, you only want to rule. Ursa, you only want to rule at Zod's side. Non, you're just a dumb shit, aren't you? Also, when Superman tells Lois during the teleportation scene that he used to play this game at school, what game does he mean? Catch? Because he surely doesn't mean a Kryptonian game where you teleport into multiples of yourself and the opponent must find the real you. Overall, this was a bit of a step down from the solid opener. The acting is still great, now with the added stamp of approval, but the plot has picked some of the lesser parts from the first one to continue, showing a lot more weaknesses, and I'm not sure the writers understood Superman as much. And that's all. Roll credits.